Nurturing creativity, turning little minds into big thinkers. Welcome. Today we're diving into something every parent dreams of, nurturing creativity in children. You know, when I was a kid, I used to think I was going to be a veterinarian. I even had a whole operation set up for my stuffed animals in my bedroom. Turned out surgery wasn't really my thing, but that creative spark, that ability to imagine and dream, that's something we all have as kids. Creativity isn't just about art or music. It's a way of thinking that helps children innovate, solve problems, and approach life with curiosity. So how do we turn the little ones in our lives into creative geniuses? Let's get started with 10 psychological tips grounded in research. The power of why? Encouraging curiosity. First up, curiosity. Children are naturally curious little creatures, aren't they? It's like they come pre-programmed with a million whys and hows. They ask hundreds of questions daily. Sometimes it feels like a million questions a minute. It can be tiring, but fostering this curiosity is key to unlocking their creativity. Encourage them to explore. Let them dig in the dirt, ask questions about the mailman, wonder why dogs bark at squirrels. When they ask, why is the sky blue? And trust me, they will ask. Embrace it. Don't just give them a simple answer. Instead, ask them what think. Get those little wheels turning. Ask, well, what color do you think it should be? What if it were green or purple? This isn't about getting the right answer. It's about sparking their imagination. Remember, every question is an opportunity. So the next time you hear, but why ye? Take a deep breath, put on your best I'm ready to be amazed face, and dive into that world of wonder with them. Unplug and play, limiting screen time to unleash creativity. Next, let's talk about screen time. Too much passive consumption like video games or TV can actually stifle creativity. Think about it. When kids are glued to a screen, they're being fed information and entertainment. They're not actively creating, imagining, or problem solving. So, how do we combat this? Limit that screen time. Encourage your kids to engage in hands-on activities instead. Let them get messy with finger paints, build magnificent towers out of blocks, or simply go outside and create their own adventures in the backyard. These activities, painting, building, playing pretend, they engage children's minds in a way that screen time just can't replicate. They're problem-solving, using their imaginations, and flexing those creative muscles without even realizing it. The freedom to flop, embracing failure as a stepping stone. Our third tip is all about embracing those, shall we say, learning moments. Creative geniuses are not afraid to fail. They see failure as an essential part of the process. So how do we instill this in our children? It starts with how we react to their setbacks. Instead of focusing on the end result, praise their effort. Let them know that you're proud of them for trying, for experimenting, for putting themselves out there. Celebrate their attempt. Ask them questions like, wow, what happened there? What do you think you could do differently next time? Chapter 4. The magic of open-ended play toys that spark imagination. Let's talk toys. When it comes to fostering creativity, there's something magical about open-ended toys. Think blocks, clay, art supplies, even simple cardboard boxes. These toys are like blank canvases for the imagination. They encourage children to think creatively because there's no one right way to use them. A cardboard box can transform into a rocket ship, a castle, or even a time machine. The possibilities are only limited by their imagination. Open-ended toys empower children to be the architects of their own fun. They're not just following instructions or pre-programmed storylines, they're creating their own worlds, characters, and adventures. So the next time you're at the toy store, skip the flashing lights and predetermined outcomes and opt for those simple, open-ended treasures. Chapter 5. The Gift of Boredom, Unleashing Creativity in Unscheduled Moments. Now this next tip might seem a little counterintuitive, but trust me on this one, let your kids be bored. When children are bored, they're forced to use their imagination to entertain themselves. They have to dig deep, get creative, and come up with their own games, stories, and adventures. It's in those unscheduled, unstructured moments that true creativity often blossoms. Think back to your own childhood. Remember those long summer days that stretched out before you with nothing but time and your imagination? You probably built forts, created your own games, put on plays, and dreamt up whole worlds in your backyard. That's the power of unstructured playtime. So, resist the urge to fill every second of their day with structured activities and planned entertainment. Give them the gift of boredom. the freedom to be alone with their thoughts, to daydream, to let their imaginations run wild. Chapter 6. The power of yet cultivating a growth mindset for creative confidence. Our next tip is all about fostering a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. It's the understanding that we're not born with fixed limits, but rather, we have the power to grow and learn throughout our lives. And this, my friends, is crucial for nurturing creativity. When children believe they can improve, when they see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than roadblocks, they're more likely to take risks, experiment, and think outside the box. They're not afraid to try new things because they know that even if they don't succeed right away, they can learn and get better with practice. So, how do we cultivate this magical growth mindset? It starts with our language. Instead of saying things like, "Oh, you're so smart," or "You're a natural artist," focus on praising their effort, their persistence, their willingness to learn. When they encounter a challenge, encourage them to embrace the word yet. "I can't do it yet. I haven't figured it out yet." Chapter 7. A world of experiences, broadening horizons to spark creativity. Our next tip is all about opening up their world. Exposing children to a wide variety of experiences is like giving their imaginations a first-class ticket to adventure. Think about it. Every new experience, every new encounter, every new piece of information they absorb adds another layer to their creative tapestry. It doesn't have to be anything grand or expensive. It could be as simple as trying a new food, sushi anyone? Visiting a local museum, attending a cultural festival, or even just taking a different route to the park. These experiences, big or small, broaden their horizons, introduce them to new perspectives, and provide them with a rich well of inspiration to draw from. When they're exposed to different cultures, different ways of life, different ways of thinking, it opens up their minds and allows them to see the world through a different lens. Remember our friend boredom? Well, we're circling back to that brilliant spark of nothing to do. It might seem counterintuitive, but allowing children to experience boredom can be one of the greatest gifts we can give their creativity. In our fast-paced, hyper-scheduled world, children are constantly bombarded with stimulation. But what happens when we hit the pause button? When children are bored, their imaginations are forced to kick into overdrive. They have to get creative, think outside the box, and come up with their own ways to entertain themselves. So, the next time you see your child wandering aimlessly, don't feel pressured to jump in and fix their boredom. Give them the space to be bored, to daydream, to let their minds wander. Let's journey into the land of make-believe. Encouraging storytelling and role-play is like giving children the keys to their very own creative kingdom. Whether they're acting out scenes with their dolls, building elaborate storylines with their action figures, or simply weaving tales from their imaginations, storytelling and role-play are incredible tools for fostering creativity. They're learning to problem solve, to think on their feet, to express themselves, and to communicate their ideas in engaging and imaginative ways. So the next time you see your child lost in a world of their own creation, don't interrupt. Encourage them to dive headfirst into those imaginary realms. And finally, the most important tip of all, be a role model. Children are like little sponges, soaking up everything they see and hear, and who better to learn from than their biggest role models, their parents. Showing your child that you value creativity, that you embrace it in your own life, can be incredibly inspiring for them. It doesn't have to be anything grand or complicated. Cook a meal together and get creative with the spices. Build a fort out of blankets and pillows. The point is to show them that creativity isn't just for kids, it's a lifelong journey of discovery and joy. There you have it, 10 psychological tips to help turn any child into a creative genius. By encouraging curiosity, embracing failure, and providing diverse experiences, you're laying the foundation for a bright, creative future for your child. Keep those creative sparks flying, and remember, the world is a much more interesting, vibrant, and innovative place when we embrace those imaginative spirits and let them soar. Thanks for joining, and let's keep sparking those imaginations.